My Etsy shop has been open for about 3 months so far, and here are the results. I just want to first share with you the stats that I've had so far, as in terms of revenue, sales, visits, things like that. And then I really want to go through what I've learned and then what my plan is to get more sales for my Etsy shop in the future. Alright, so May 2023 was the third month my store was open. As you can see, I had 30 listings. I nearly doubled the amount of total listings that I had. Now, in terms of organic traffic and orders and things like that, I had more visits than I ever had previously, more total orders, but less revenue. And I'm going to tell you why that is in a second here. But I had a little bit higher of a conversion rate compared to month 2 for all my organic traffic and sales. Now, before we kind of dive into the ad spend and the total revenue and stuff, I gotta share a quick story. Now, it was bound to happen, but I got my first bad review on Etsy. I got 1 star, and it was a pretty negative review. And since my shop is pretty new and I don't have a ton of reviews, it hurt my store pretty negatively. In terms of traffic, because the Etsy algorithm doesn't really like bad reviews, right? Especially since I only had 3 reviews at the time, one of them being a 1-star review that doesn't really look good, doesn't help me out very much. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about this. So this person purchased my loan amortization table template. And keep in mind at the time, this template was $2.99. So not a crazy purchase, isn't gonna break the bank. So this person purchased the template, and then they later messaged me saying, hey, I'm having trouble understanding the template, like how does it work? Can you please help me out? Here's a link to the Google Drive where I've been using the template. And I was like, yeah, I'll take a look, see what's going on. I included it with the template. There's an instructional video that clearly shows that you only need to manipulate really 3, possibly 4 items in the entire workbook. There's not a lot you're supposed to change. You essentially just enter 3 things and maybe an extra 4th thing if you have extra loan payments. Kind of boring stuff, I know, so I'll kind of get past that. But anyways, so I took a look on the Google Drive, and it looks like they had duplicated the loan table that I had given them a bunch of times into a bunch of different tabs. I looked at the first tab, and it looked like they had deleted all the formulas that were included in the workbook, so it didn't work anymore. And the person was essentially trying to figure out what some of the columns did, what some of the formulas did, and they wanted to put their loan in terms of months, which the template is already set up to be used in terms of months, right? So I addressed that, said, hey, it's already in months, you don't need to worry about that. And I was like, hey, it looks like some of the formulas were deleted, and honestly, I really wanted to help this person out, but it would have taken me so much time to go back in, redo all the formulas for every single tab in order for the information to be displayed accurately. So I was like, hey, the formulas were deleted, and one of the specific columns they deleted was PMT, which stood for payment. And they're like, hey, I didn't understand what that meant, so I just got rid of it. I was like, well, you probably should have watched the instructional video. And this person also found my YouTube video online, which is about 10 minutes teaching someone how to build this template from scratch, specifically detailing every step, what everything in the entire template meant. So they watched that video, they watched the instructional video, and they still didn't understand. So I was kind of like, well, there's not a whole lot more I can do unless I physically fix all of it for you. Like, you have an instructional video. I've explained what a lot of these things meant. I explained what payment meant. I explained how principal was calculated and things like that. So I wasn't sure what else I could do to help them without specifically diving in and doing it for them, right? Or walking them through step by step, jumping on a call, doing that, right? So I said, hey, if you really want that kind of help, you can hire me on Fiverr. But they didn't do that because they didn't want to spend more money. I don't blame them. But it's like they expected a lot from me for just a $2.99 template, right? So I'm just like trying to help this person without spending hours and hours helping them for $3, right? So you know, obviously there's more I could have done, right? But then they left a pretty harsh review saying that I didn't explain anything, that I wasn't willing to help, and all these things, and I ended up refunding them the money just because I felt bad I wasn't able to help them achieve what they wanted to. But also, you know, it's like, if you're gonna delete all the formulas and just completely change the template and then ask me to go in and fix all of it, it's like, I explained everything the best I could. And so I thought I was kind of blown out of the water. They gave me a really harsh review. You could probably find it and read it. I don't want to, you know, rat this person out or anything, and I'm not trying to, you know, negatively impact this person's own Etsy store or ratings or anything like that. I just want to explain my perspective, and I'm trying to understand theirs. Is just a little difficult. And I'm sure they were frustrated trying to get it all figured out, and they probably spent a lot of time trying to do that. But anyways, I felt like that was a pretty harsh, unfair review when I had been trying to help them and I had been explaining things to them, and then they just went ahead and wrote a pretty bad review. So anyways, that kind of bummed me out. But such is life. It was bound to happen. I was bound to get a negative review at some point, right? All right, so going back to the stats here, we can then see with my ad spend, I spent $180 on ads, which resulted in 600 visits or clicks, which then resulted in 25 orders and $70 in revenue, which is a 4.17 conversion rate. So if you're doing the math, I spent more on ads than I made by almost $110. And that resulted in a total of $110 in revenue for the entire month. Up until that point, I had only made 18 total orders, and within this month of May, I had 39 orders, but had less revenue than the month I only sold 11 orders. Now the reason being is because I dropped the price on a lot of my templates, right? Just to get more sales, to hopefully get more reviews, and grow my store more organically so I don't have to keep spending money on ads. And so I have a total of 65 orders across the 3 months, resulting in almost $300 in revenue with a 4.07% conversion rate. With almost 2,000 visits, my ad profit is negative $128 if you add up my spend and my total revenue. And my ad revenue results in about 30% of my total sale revenue. All right, so those are the numbers, right? So obviously you can see that I spent a lot of ads and didn't really find a return off that. I have a separate video kind of detailing more in depth about that you can check out on my channel, where I spend $5 a day on ads for about 30 days. All right, so really quick lessons that I learned were: one, you should really learn from the listings that you have that are doing well. Generally, most of the sales and orders that I have come from 2, maybe 3 templates. If you can understand why those listings are doing well, you can then implement that to your new listings or existing listings that aren't doing as well. And number 2 is that you gotta keep adding listings. It's really all about volume, right? Like, you don't need the perfect template. You don't need the perfect product to list on your store. You learn through repetition. And having more volume than someone else is gonna lead you to more sales, right? The more you practice something, the better you're gonna get at it. So adding more listings, understanding how the SEO works, understanding which type of mock-up images work best is really gonna come naturally when you're repeating this process over and over. So keep adding listings. It's important. Most successful stores have hundreds of listings before they start seeing sales. This number 3, what I learned is don't just throw money at ads. So I had originally just spent $5 a day and I threw the ad revenue for all of my listings. It's a lot smarter to focus on your listings that are doing well and promote them through Etsy ads rather than promoting all your listings at one time, because a lot of your listings aren't gonna do great. That's just the truth of it. And so before we end with this video, this is my plan for month 4. I'm gonna experiment a little bit more with the ads, right? I'm gonna focus them on my listings that are doing well rather than spending ad money on all of my listings. Just focus it onto the ones that are doing well, maybe spend a little bit more than $5 a day. Just kind of experiment with that, figure out the best ad strategy for my store. The second part of my plan is to mess around a lot more with pricing. Really figuring out how much my templates will actually sell for, rather than just discounting them so people will buy them, or having them too high where not very many people are buying them. You know, finding that spot between supply and demand, that equilibrium here in the middle. And the third part of my plan is to continue to add listings and focus on making them higher quality, better products. Because the products that I spent more time on that I think are much higher quality are actually selling more than my other products. So I'm gonna continue to pump out as many listings as I can, but keep the quality control in check and make sure that the products are worth purchasing. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for month 4. Subscribe, smash the like button, and have a great rest of your day.